The year is 2015, and every day you walk around with a device that has access to more information than anybody who has lived before you. The way we live has been disrupted. In 15 years, social media, cloud storage, big data, and nanotechnology have changed the world. I'm McKeen, and this is Disruptive Technology. Automation, the nature of work, job titles, and skill sets are changing rapidly. There's no stopping this tide. Labor becomes more advanced. New jobs require a high level of education, entrepreneurship, insight, and technical skill. No longer will we as a society be able to create manual labor to fix unemployment. We will need different solutions. Research has shown in 15 years, by 2030, 50% of job titles won't exist anymore. We aren't here to fight anew. We are here to ask the question, if jobs are changing, what will the future of jobs be? Are we investing in infrastructure and education to create jobs of tomorrow, today? With me in studio today is Ayanda and Nelly. Guys, what do you do? Who are you? Where do you come from?
My name is Ayanda. My surname is Makinza. I'm coming all the way from the Eastern Cape, Port Elizabeth to be specific. I came to Joburg to study IT. I'm an integration designer as we speak today. So that's me.
And Nelly?
Hi, my name is Nelly Moseki. I am a software development student, and at the moment I'm job hunting, but I keep busy with attending Drupal meetup meetings. Drupal, I basically am part of the Drupal community. Yeah.
So we spoke about your jobs, but let's also identify some of the jobs that are going to disappear. We spoke about petrol attendants, taxi drivers, farm workers, and construction workers. I think one of the things we need to discuss is emerging industries. Gene therapy, LED street lighting, microbe sensing food technology. What we see here is a convergence of technologies, how one or two industries are coming together and being enhanced by other technologies. What do you guys have to say about that?
Can I add on that?
Yes.
Actually? Even if we look at the way we do things today, we speak about apps. Our phones are smartphones, they've got apps in them. Everyone is talking about apps. Already, the people are in that space, such that they haven't realized that they are operating in that space as yet. But surely, as we build and mold the country and the curriculum to align with the specialties and things that we expect from the country itself, then it will be easier when we tap into that space. I just wanted to add on that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think, yeah.
But what about taxi drivers? You mentioned, things are going to be replaced. I'm not sure if I heard that properly, but taxi drivers, are really needed in South Africa, and they've become a sort of ingredient to the South African fabric, I'd say. I live in Soweto. When I wake up in the morning, what wakes me up in the morning is the sound of taxi drivers. So if those people were to disappear, besides the logical things you think about, like the fact that in a taxi there's like 21 people that can be driven to work, as opposed to having one car, one person, taxi drivers are a part of South Africa. So to kind of eliminate that,
I agree with you, but I don't see that there being a specific correlation between eliminating them and the fact that those jobs will be replaced by some technology. If you have autonomous vehicles that drive themselves without a human driver, you've removed the need for a taxi driver. Those cars are safer, they drive down the road, you can track them, know where they are, they're reliable, secure. Those technologies don't mind who they're displacing. The fact is that they're there and they're displacing those jobs.
But how much are those automated cars? How much are they? How many people are actually going to be able to afford that? Taxis are very affordable.
I think at the moment they are, but as labor becomes more expensive, as people integrate further into the economy, we'll see the price of transports, etc., getting more expensive. We'll see more public transport being launched throughout cities. We're seeing it now in Sandton and elsewhere. We'll eventually get to the point where the cost of a driver is so expensive, it makes no sense to have that person doing that job.
I don't know. This is something about detaching taxi drivers away from the whole thing, and it's not just taxi drivers, but like construction workers as well. If everything is automated, what happens to us? To some extent we need to feel like we have a responsibility to make things happen. Now if you have like something that's automated, it brings back that whole thing that, South Africans are lazy, and it's a saying that we all know.
I don't think it's got much to do with South Africans being lazy. Is that this technology is happening? It's all around the world. We could say that for everybody. But Ayanda, what do you have to say?
And on top of that, we're not really saying replace or remove at all the manual labor. All we're saying is technology will enhance the capability to deliver the caliber.
To what extent?
It can help into the extent of designing. You can already project and see the outcome without actually working on it to see the disadvantages and advantages. You can see those prior on early stages. That's what technology will enhance. We're not saying we want to remove everything regarding labor work.
Okay, but then to what extent? For instance, for a person that is an artist,
yes.
A person that draws, to what extent are you guys going to automate the process of creating a painting or a sculpture? Those things need some sort of human abilities and human
there are computer programs which can paint and draw for you now,
but they don't have emotions.
They don't have emotions, but I think that's a subjective experience that you see with art, is that emotional experience. And if you saw an art piece created by a computer or a human, would you really be able to define who created it and how it was made, or would it still evoke those feelings to you? But I wanted to touch on the construction workers.
Okay.
Construction work is a very dangerous game. Buildings fall down, people fall into holes in the ground, all sorts of things. But if we get to the point where we have 3D printing for houses, where you can take a machine, program in a system to say, I want the house to look like this, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a loft. And have a machine build that for you with 2 or 3 supervisors who are standing around and ensuring that the job is done right. Yes, we've removed 15 jobs, but we've also maybe saved 15 lives. We've now brought it to a safer space. Those machines are reliable. They don't go on strike. They make sure that they keep working as long as they need to work. We will replace those jobs with people who have to maintain that machine. So the skill set changes. You're no longer a construction person. You're somebody who manages a machine.
Okay.
Adding to that as well, it means now we're not going to look at the people who does the skill or the people who've got the skill. We need to also align our curriculum. The people that's got the skill, the way we teach them, we need to align with the way the evolution of technology is heading to. So always we need to keep hand in hand. What we're making and what we're about to make must always be aligned with the evolution of technology.
But Ayanda, think about this. Okay, you guys are being specific to certain occupations, construction working, taxi driver, but what about things like, an artist, I'll go back to that. Things that need emotion cannot always be automated. You cannot automate a person's emotion, That's something that we cannot all run away from, because we are human and emotions are what, everything that we do, otherwise we'll lose the originality of a person, the essence of a human, the fact that I have to wake up in the morning and have something already done for me, for some people that only have that thing to do for the day, they don't feel accomplished, as opposed to somebody who has a whole bunch of things that they can do, because, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
What you're saying, but what you're describing at that point is meaning that we attach to our life. And if your meaning 100 years ago was wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go milk the cow, grab the eggs from the chicken, and then go till the field for the rest of the day, that gave your life meaning.
Okay.
And I'm sure it was very scary to see machines moving into the farm next door and on this side, and you are tilling the fields at 5 a.m. and these guys are busy doing it all and sitting having a Coke on the side of their house, on their porch. But let me get to the next question that I wanted to ask you guys. What jobs do you think humans will always be able to do better than robots? Nelly, you seem to be quite outspoken about this humans versus robots aspect.
Humans, guys, we are human because we are, we have emotion. I think that's one thing that, when someone thinks of a human, it's emotion. And something that can't do is connect with a person, So I think, for instance, therapy sessions, if I were to go and have a robot, speaking to me, if I were to go to therapy and I had a robot, it just doesn't make sense, because how is the robot going to understand the complexity of the emotions of me having been dumped by my boyfriend, for instance? That's a silly example, but
well, it's a good example. It's a good example of how human connection cannot be replaced by a robot.
Lawyers, you cannot replace lawyers. Lawyers and judges, you cannot replace. You'll always have a human impact there, in a sense that is people who are listening to people arguing with facts. There shouldn't be no biasness. The feeling should be out of the equation, but you need the human factor, in a sense that person needs to evaluate what's factual, what's beyond reasonable doubt. You'll still need a human being there. So those jobs, social services, we cannot really replace them by robots or by the evolution of technology. We can only enhance what they can do, and whatever they do redundant, then that's what we change
so
to robots. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, like it goes back to the whole boundaries thingy and the other thing, emotional thingy. We can't eliminate that. And robots will always be thinking emotion, because that's what they don't have, and that's what we have, So, I mean, it's like, for instance, Greg, say, you're talking about this whole automation thing, having technology do all sorts of things for us. If I had a phone that told me that it gave me an update information about my status, HIV, my health status, and it showed that I had HIV, or whatever, I just think that's a bit very, not impersonal because it's a device, but it's very like, boom, in my face. I'd rather go to the doctor, and have him sit me down and break things down to me and be like, okay, this is what's happening, as opposed to it's like getting an SMS, you have HIV.
I agree with you. I see that emotional impact that the doctor can have in relaying that bad news to you. You don't want everything, as you said, that judgment call of being able to say, I have this option and I have this option.
And at the very same time, we don't discard technology at all, in a sense that we can live with the fact that everything is automated. I mean, just imagine you have an app. That app can detect that whether you have cancer or you don't have it. I mean, it can explain it to you. Let's imagine it's animated to you. It explains things to you better what the doctor would have done to you. I mean, wouldn't you be happy to have such?
Yes, of course, but I'm just saying there should be a limit.
So what I'm hearing from you is the jobs that humans will continue to do are jobs with emotion, empathy, personalized services, social services, services where there needs to be a communication that is dealt with in a sensitive way, judgments, arguments, things that computers won't really be able to sift through all that information and decipher what is true and what is false. Cool. So the last question before we wrap up, will we fight automation for the sake of jobs? Will we resist robots coming into the workplace just so that we can employ people?
There'll definitely be resistance, especially in the taxi association, I must say.
Definitely.
There will be.
In general as well, there would be. I mean, let's just put it into action. For an example, if you would go ask your dad today, he's been working in mines for 20 years. And then you ask him to change the way he's been doing it for the last 20 years to bring in new stuff. Definitely sure he will freak out.
Yeah.
Definitely sure. Everyone is resistant to a change. So the country needs to be prepared that when we get to that state, how do we mitigate those things?
So how do we prepare people for the change? It's happening, we can't stop it.
You mustn't force it. It must be a sort of amusement. There mustn't be compulsion in it. It must be a fact of you must teach them how to change and use the new stuff in a much more smarter way than forcing them, than giving them no choice. So you must make them aware. There must be proper training, and they must be fully taught of this is what they must expect, and this is the package that it comes with.
I agree, you can't just take somebody's job without giving them some skill in return to help them move into the new economy.
So that would be how I would approach it.
I think it's going to be difficult though, like extremely difficult.
And then moving to the taxi drivers thing, I know to some people it sounds like a culture. And we remember when we had World Cup during the South Africa during 2010, one of the things that people remember us of, it's because of the taxi driving and all of that logistical issue we have in South Africa. I mean, to remove that, there's an attachment to other people, but we should look at it in a much more broader way. If we look at it in terms of security, how many accidents will limit? These taxis are not serviced, but if we have a robot that looks after those things, we'll eliminate a lot of deaths a lot of accidents.
Reliability.
Reliability is there 24/7. You won't find taxis striking because they will
Machines continue to
You know
work.
what I mean? So at least from my opinion, that's how I say it.
What about maintenance of the robots?
I see that problem, and that's where once you free yourself from manual labor, you are able to look around the world and say, I can learn this. I can go and study computer programming. I can go study biology, gene therapy, any of the industries that are launching. We're not saying that jobs are going and they're never coming back. We're saying jobs are being replaced by something else, something better.
Well, I enjoy that
Yes,
something
you need
else.
to. Well, you have to find your place in that new economy. That is what we're talking about.
But sometimes, what if you have taken that thing that really makes me happy? You know, you just taken it away because now, really, it's not like I'm given a choice.
The problem is none of us are choosing this. None of us are choosing what industries are going to be replaced. We're not choosing what technology is going to disrupt our world. It's happening around us. Other people are making those choices for you too.
But does
you
everything
need to
have
make
to change,
those
Greg?
choices.
Does everything have to change?
I
That's my
think
question.
everything will change. Everything changes over time anyway. The way that they farmed in Rome 2,000 years ago is very different to the way we farm today. 100 years ago, we never used as much pesticides, herbicides, we didn't have GMOs. We have created crops that are abundant, and that's a change. It's the way that we change. The fact that you can walk into your supermarket and get an avocado, but we don't live in a tropical region, speaks towards that change, that globalization. So we're not sitting here saying, I'm taking away your job, lady. We're saying the world is taking away your job. Automation is happening. Technology is infringing on where you thought those boundaries were. You have to push those boundaries back and find where between now and then, now in the future, you can reinvent and recreate yourself.
But what effect is all this automation going to have to the environment, number one, to the human being, number two? I really think there's going to be some sort of impact.
Okay guys, but I think it's time we wrap up. Do you have any final points?
Let's just not lose the human touch, which is, you know, feeling, emotion. We cannot just lose that, because I feel that if everything is going to be automated, you know, we're going to lose each other some way, somehow, you know, the feeling of things, you know, the achievement of that fulfillment when you achieve something and it's like, yes, I built that with my own hands. No robot did that for me, you know. If we lose...
But okay, wait, sorry, but you're a programmer. You tell a robot every day what to do. You create something out of nothing. You write words and text to create something that wasn't there before.
See, my part is still there. I'm the one who's actually doing the work. It's not the robot, the computer telling me, okay, Nelly, you know, you understand? That makes me feel like I've achieved something. And that's it's an emotional connection thing that we cannot just, you know, run away from.
Ayanda?
As for me, man, I'm just more worried about the country. We're talking about all of the stuff we've been discussing tonight in a way that I hope we're raising these things and there's ears out there to listen. For things like we need to change our curriculum to align it to the evolution of technology. That's not dependent on us. We need to bring South Africa on board. Your Department of Education must align the curriculum with this. And I'm also excited at the very same time. I wish I will still be here in 2050 and observe and see some of the stuff we've been discussing taking place in action.
At the end of the day, we have no idea which way technology is going to go or where the future is going to lead. All we know is that we need to be prepared. Join us next time or visit us at smartchaos.co.za and join in on the discussion.